Today, I'm going to be answering the most searched SEO questions on Google. My name is Caleb Ulku, and I run a 7-figure AI-powered SEO agency. So, without further ado, let's get straight to that first question. So, what is SEO marketing? SEO marketing is basically ranking your business or your client's businesses higher on Google search and on AI search. Now, when we talk about ranking on AI search, I like to use the phrase that we're trying to get AI to recommend your business, because when AI lists businesses, it usually feels more like a recommendation. What is SEO optimization? Well, SEO optimization is like saying ATM machine. The O stands for optimization, just like the M in ATM machine stands for machine. What is SEO for website? So when you're doing SEO, you're going to try to get a website to rank historically, like if we rewind to 2021, 2022, we're trying to rank to the top 10 spots. That's the first page of Google search. Why the first page? Well, there's a very old joke in SEO. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? The second page of Google search. If you're not on the first page, no one's going to find you. SEO for a website is about getting to the first page. What is SEO mean? Well, that's not the best grammar, but SEO basically means search engine optimization. So the search engine in this case, for most of the time, is going to be Google itself. Historically, we could have done SEO for Alta Vista, if you're old enough to know what that means. And now we can talk about doing SEO for ChatGPT. But SEO is optimizing for an algorithm for a device that's trying to find things that people are looking for on the internet. All right, what is SEO writing? SEO writing is writing content that's designed to help you rank on Google search, help you get recommended by ChatGPT and other AI devices, and help the user know that they are in the right place. When someone searches for something and clicks on a result or gets recommended something from ChatGPT, if they go to that result and then immediately hit back, you're going to lose rank position. So we really need to write for 3 audiences simultaneously: Google, AI, and users. What is SEO and SEM? So SEO, search engine optimization, it's ranking on Google for organic search. SEM, that stands for search engine marketing. So search engine marketing is going to be spending money to show up on top of Google search results, whether that's local or non-local. What is SEO and GEO? So SEO is, historically, we might think about SEO like ranking on Google. GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, is what that stands for. It's basically optimizing for AI systems. Luckily, if you do SEO correctly, you're like 80% of the way toward doing GEO correctly. So there's a lot of overlap between these different fields. All right, let's check another one. Let's just type is SEO. Is SEO free? So that depends on if you're the one doing it and you don't value your time. SEO takes time, SEO takes effort. We need to produce content that gets Google and the AI engines to understand what you are, what you're about, what entities you do, what services you provide, and then we need to build trust with both Google and those AI models. With the AI systems, we're building trust through mentions. So if you can write the content, get backlinks, get mentions free, then yes, SEO can be free. But a lot of people struggle to do all of that for free, so they end up paying for it, whether they're hiring an agency or paying for all of the individual pieces of it a la carte. Is SEO dead? Well, I'm obviously slightly biased here as an SEO practitioner, but no. Every quarter, Google is reporting record search volume, including the last quarter of 2025. As we do SEO for Google, that also helps you get recommended by AI systems. So SEO is becoming more and more valuable. Every 6 to 12 months, it feels like something changes in the industry and everyone declares that SEO is dead. But really, SEO changes, it morphs. What we did in 1998 to rank on Alta Vista is not what we're doing in 2026 to get ChatGPT to recommend you. I would still call both of those things SEO. Is SEO worth it? Absolutely. When we talk about running ads, most people will not click on an ad. An ad conversion rate is maybe 5%. And if we look at a local business, the top 3 results for a local search, they're going to get 60 to 70% of the traffic. Often, the top player is going to be the one that has the most reviews or the highest quality reviews, and they're going to get the lion's share of that. What that means is for a search like Plumber Houston, you could have a 7-figure business by just ranking in the top 3 for the search Plumber Houston. It is one of the best return on investments you can do in online marketing, as long as you do enough to get to the first page. So what the first page means for local is the top 3. For non-local, it means the top 10 or more likely being cited in the AI overview. The challenge with SEO is if you do a whole bunch of work and you go from page 9 to page 2, you're not going to get any additional traffic. No one goes past the first page. So if you're not going to do enough SEO to get to the first page or the top 3 for local, then you should do nothing. Half measures are a waste of time and money in SEO. So it's worth it if you do enough to get to the top. Otherwise, skip it. Is SEO a good career? Well, I'm also pretty biased here, but I'd say yes. If you're getting started in SEO, then, learning the basics of it, it's not rocket science. It's about producing content that algorithms can read and content that users will recognize and convert on. Once you can start to learn that, it's really a handful of clients. Most SEO clients are $1,000 a month to $3,000 a month. So 5 to 10 clients is enough to give you a 6-figure business. Most people know enough people in their network or one step removed from their network to get those first 5 to 10 clients and really knock it out of the park, get their ranking better. And that's a solid way to start to build that 6-figure income. Is SEO easy to learn? To this one, I would say, yeah, it's pretty easy to understand the basics of SEO. It's pretty easy to get to a point where you understand what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. One of the challenges here is a lot of SEO gurus make SEO sound as complicated as possible, with the goal that instead of doing SEO yourself, you'll just hire them. Admittedly, Google is also somewhat to blame here. Google wants you to pay for ads. That's how Alphabet, Google's parent company, makes something like 80 or 90% of its revenue, right? They're a multi-trillion-dollar company because people pay for ads. If everyone could do SEO and then not have to pay for ads, well, that's bad for Alphabet. So a lot of what Google does also feels like it's to make it harder to do this organically, to do good SEO, and then get business that way. But SEO, it's not rocket science. We just make sure that we're going to write content both for users and for the algorithms, and then we source trust for those algorithms to believe that we are who we say we are and do what we say we're going to do. Is SEO important? Well, I guess that depends on what you mean by important. So if you're a local small business, then SEO can certainly help your business grow very quickly. But depending on how large of an area you're in, how big it is, how many competitors, how many other businesses, it can be expensive, time-consuming to do SEO in order to get into the top 3. And like I said, if you're not doing enough to get into the top 3, you should skip SEO. Don't just do a little bit, you have to go all the way or not at all. There are a lot of businesses that can be quite successful not doing SEO. For example, a business like Apple, right? If you look at Apple's website, their SEO is pretty terrible. They really only rank for branded terms, and any idiot in SEO can rank for branded terms. But Apple doesn't really rank for smartphone or non-branded, but that's because their brand strength is so strong that frankly, they don't need to. So I know it's not super satisfying, but my answer to this question would be, it depends. If people are looking for your service, you can get in front of them with SEO. I'll put it that way. Is SEO worth it for small businesses? I've answered this one. The short version of this answer is yes, as long as you make sure you're doing enough to get into the top 3. Don't take half measures. Either do SEO and get into the top 3 or do nothing. Don't go halfway. You won't make it. Is SEO still relevant in 2025? Yes, SEO very much still relevant in 2025 and in 2026. And I don't see this changing anytime soon. Google search volume higher than ever. Google earnings higher than ever. It seems like there's this pattern where people will ask ChatGPT a question for a recommendation, and then they're going to take that recommendation and go on Google to verify it. So people are double dipping between ChatGPT and Google. SEO is fundamentally about building the trust so the algorithm knows what your business does based on what the algorithm can find online, whether that algorithm is Google or ChatGPT or Claude or Grok, or pick whatever algorithm you want. So yes, it is still very relevant and will continue to be very relevant pretty much as long as I could see into the future. Is SEO hard? No, SEO is not hard. There aren't like huge, massive technical details that most people need to get correct in terms of SEO, right? Most people, when they're doing SEO, they're not like competing against Amazon, right? If you're competing against Amazon, then yes, SEO will be hard. But when a lot of people are talking about SEO, they're trying to rank their local plumbing business or they're trying to rank their air duct cleaning business. In that case, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than Joe the plumber down the street. All right, let's try another one. I'll just type in SEO and let's see what we get. SEO tools. Oh, this is a good one. There are so many SEO tools, and most of them are a complete and obnoxious waste of time. We don't need very many tools to do SEO successfully, to do SEO well, especially if we're talking about local SEO. We don't even really need things like domain ratings, domain authority. We don't need to worry about those things because they're just not very important for local SEO. And non-local SEO, again, a lot of these tools just aren't very important. Non-local SEO is really getting taken over by the AI overview and other AI systems, especially non-local informational type searches. Most of the time, you really just don't need expensive or fancy SEO tools. Even at my agency, we only use a handful. There's a video I did a year or so ago where I talk about the exact tools that we use in my agency. But yeah, you don't need to go crazy with SEO tools. Please don't. It's going to be a waste of time and money. In my opinion, researching tools is a really easy way to make yourself feel like you're doing work and growing your business, but you're just wasting your time. Instead of evaluating tools, you should be trying to get clients. Okay, so we had a couple of good ones about local SEO. Let's see what else we have. Local SEO. So services, that's somebody looking for an agency. Local SEO meaning. So this is interesting. So when I think about local SEO, the way I define local SEO is SEO if there is a map results after you search, right? So if I type in, for example, plumber New Orleans, then I get this map result, okay? And these are 3 Google business profiles. Any search where a GBP is shown in this map pack is a local search. Now, so what that means, that's plumber New Orleans. If I search for like yacht rental Dubai, which is, I don't know, 3,000 miles away, and I can scroll down here, and here I can see GBPs as the results. So I would also consider yacht rental Dubai to be local SEO. Local SEO, any SEO where we're trying to rank the GBP and not the website. All right, let's keep going. Local SEO agency, that would be an agency that helps to do that. Local SEO tools, I talked about tools briefly. The big tool that we need for local SEO is a tool that helps you manage the Google business profile. We want to upload photos on a regular basis. We want to do GBP posts on a regular basis. We want to reply to reviews. We want to keep the GBP active. We can do that manually, but there are a lot of pretty good GBP management tools out there that aren't very expensive that will do a lot of this automatically with AI. And, we just don't need to worry about it once we get all the tools set up and humming along with AI. That's pretty much the only real tool that we use for local SEO beyond some of the AI tools like Claude. All right, local SEO companies. I'm guessing this is very similar to local SEO agency or services. Local SEO help. Well, if you need help with local SEO, I'm a little bit biased here, but I'd recommend you check out this guy, Caleb Ulku's YouTube channel. All right, local SEO guide. I think it's like a 48-minute video I did, which is almost everything I know about local SEO. So check that out. Local SEO heat map. I don't know where this phrasing came from. I don't think it's actually a heat map, but a local SEO heat map, that is a rank map. So let me show you what a rank map is and why it's so important for local SEO. It shows us exactly where this business is ranked, 1, 2, or 3 being the most important. And if we're 4 is the first loser because no one ever sees the 4th position. So this shows us exactly where this business is ranked for whatever keyword we ran this local rank map for. And we do this every other week at minimum for all of our clients. This tells us everything we need to know and exactly what we need to do to get this business to rank higher in local search. So for this business, if I'm looking at these 4s, here, then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to produce geographic relevance content to try to convince Google that I do this service at this location. We look at a local business, whether it's our client or a prospect, one of the first things we're always going to do is run the local rank map to get an idea of what they need, where they're at, and what the path forward is to get them to rank higher. The local rank map is one of the most important tools in local SEO, and honestly, one of the only tools we use regularly other than the GBP management software that I mentioned. All right, let me do a quick search for SEO and see if we can find any people also ask questions. A lot of people know this, but if you didn't, when you get people also ask questions, you can just click and open and close it, and it gets more and more people also ask questions. All right. How to do SEO for beginners. Produce the correct content that Google is looking for, content that ChatGPT is looking for, and content that your users are looking for. Produce that content, then source the trust that Google and the generative AI engines need to trust that content. That's fundamentally SEO. We want to produce the right content and then find trust to support that content. Boy, what is an SEO salary? What does $67,000 to $70,000. That's actually pretty good, pretty close. So most agencies that I know of, they're just getting off of the ground. 100 to 150K a year is pretty common for a one-person agency. And if they're running a 50-ish% net margin, then that'll get them right in this range for salary. So that one makes sense. Can SEO be self-taught? It can be. There are some eccentricities about SEO. So I learned SEO through a combination of self-teaching. I also bought an insane number of SEO courses, and my team and I also did a lot of split tests to see exactly what Google's algorithm is actually looking for. So a split test in SEO, we might have 10 Google business profiles. Let's do thing A to 5 of them, thing B to the other 5, and then we'll watch those 10 rank maps and see which of those 5 get better. Thing A5 or thing B5, that tells us whether A or B helps more in Google's algorithm. Can ChatGPT do SEO? No, I don't think it can, at least not yet. ChatGPT will often give you advice that feels correct, but doesn't actually help you with SEO. Let's see what the PAA says. Well, okay. Yes, ChatGPT can help you stream a lot of individual tasks like this. And I would agree with that. We use ChatGPT, we use Claude to help us with a lot of these individual tasks. I would say that it can't help us figure out what the overall strategy for SEO is. And that's what it says right here, not a replacement for human expertise. So if I said, can ChatGPT do SEO? My response is no, it's not a replacement for human expertise. So it can't do SEO, but it can certainly help you do a lot of these individual tasks much faster. And that's what we use at ChatGPT or Claude or other AI tools to help us with specific tasks. So we know that we want like content research, or we want a user intent analysis, then yes, we can use Claude, we can use ChatGPT to get that content, to get that user analysis done quickly and reasonably accurately. But if I'm going to go to Claude or ChatGPT and give it a URL and say, what do I need to do to rank higher? Every time I've done that, the advice that I get is basically trash and not worth paying attention to. Can I learn SEO in 3 months? Yeah, you can learn SEO in 3 months. Absolutely. So let's just type in maybe some big tools and see what people are asking about, like Google Search Console. Google Search Console versus Google Analytics. This is a common question I get a lot. So Google Search Console will tell you how many clicks your website got from Google Search. Google Analytics will tell you how many times somebody visited your website. So, for example, somebody searches for something on Google Search, clicks through to your website, bookmarks it, and then visits your website 10 more times over the next 6 months. Google Search Console will count that as 1 click because they clicked on your website once from Google itself, and the Google Analytics will count that as 11 sessions because they clicked once, bookmarked it, and then visited 10 more times. So that's the difference between Search Console and Analytics. Analytics will give you a lot more information about what people are doing when they get to your website. Search Console will just tell you how they got there from Google Search. Search Console for SEO. Great, talked about that. API, account certification tools, logo app. Great, okay. Let's talk about Google Business Profile. Manager support, help, create. All right, so to create a Google Business Profile, probably 90% of the time in the last few years, creating a Google Business Profile comes down to video verification. So this means that if you want a Google Business Profile, Google is going to ask you to record a video that proves you have control over that location and that that location is where you say it is. Recording the Google verification video can be a pain. It can be difficult to squeeze everything in like the 2 minutes or so that you have, but they're very effective. In my school group, I have a link in the description. There's a step-by-step checklist, what we've done to get a couple hundred GVPs live and verified. You can join the school group, grab that checklist, and see how we get GVPs verified. And Google Business Profile Support phone number, sadly, there is no longer a phone number. You can go to Google Business Profile Support and request a callback. That's harder than it used to be, but you still can do that, but there's no phone number that you can call. And if you want to call Google or have them call you back, request a callback to complain about your rankings, they're just going to say that rankings fluctuate and you're not going to get anywhere. In order to get good results from a Google Business Profile Support, you need to have a very clear idea of the issue, what you need them to help you with, what you need them to fix, what you need them to check on, but you can't complain about your ranking. They'll just immediately shut down and say ranking is variable and they'll stop helping you. All right, those are all the questions that I could find on Google. If I missed any, let me know in the comments. See you guys later.